This is Tom Papa, and the great Tom Papa, who I go back, I think, 25 years with, a great stand-up comic. I think we were hanging out at
probably
the comic
like 20.
strip. Well, let's do the math, my friend, because we were at the comic strip probably around 92, 93, bro.
I started in 93.
Yeah.
It was the first time on stage.
How old were you
So
then?
I probably got to the comic strip like around 95,
Yeah.
96.
So 21, 22 years, 21 years?
Yeah, right in
And
there.
So you were how old when you first started?
I was,
14.
let's see, I'm 39 now, so I was like 20-something.
You're 10 years younger than me.
Yeah,
Kiss my ass.
yeah.
God damn, I'm old.
And you're born and raised where?
New Jersey. Jersey.
In
Jersey,
Jersey.
Long
kid up in
Island?
here. Am I Long Island?
Yeah, you just made a face like
No, not at
Long
all.
Island guys
not at all.
usually
Not at all.
respond.
I would assume the East Coast because I feel like for a reason like Boston, New Jersey, New York breeds just the best of the best when it comes to comics. For whatever reason.
I know.
Yeah, do
because
some
there's a lot of
comedy.
tension there. Like
Go-
coming
go-
in
go
here
through the
today,
guys.
Coming in here today, this is so nice.
I know.
Your parking lots are nice. The air is nice. The light. There's hardly any people. There's no stress. It was like I've never been here before, and I'm like, these guys. This is the greatest place to work.
I know.
Yeah.
But there's no like tension. There's no like running into other people, anxiety.
Smells.
If you start out as like a
chaos.
young guy here, like trying to be funny,
No.
that would be hard.
I agree. Well, I remember in New York, the summers where you would be, it's like marching in a parade and running a marathon every fucking day. It's so hot. Remember the grime that you would get on your face going from audition to audition that you never got?
Yeah.
And then just carrying your bag, and there were bikes, people yelling, shit, bum, urine. It was
Smelled
everywhere.
like war.
Dude, and the fucking subways, and it was dangerous. Oh, and by the way, it was kind of dangerous at times.
And the whole time you're trying not to sweat because you're going into an audition.
Well,
Yeah.
New Jersey's still dangerous.
Parts
Yeah.
of it.
Parts of it. I mean, New
Newark
Jersey can be a
No,
little rough.
I know. It's kind of
New
it's
Jersey's
kind
a
of
huge
sad.
suburb,
But my
but
sister runs a charity called City Green, which is in northern New Jersey, and she's trying to change these cities by putting in farming and letting these kids come in from the schools and learn how to grow vegetables and all this kind of stuff. And she's transforming these cities. But the reason that they need this is because all these great cities in New Jersey, Newark, Paterson, Passaic, Camden down south, these were major cities. They're bombed out.
They're bombed
They're
the fuck
just
out.
like they're not even cities anymore. They're hardly functioning.
And you're right when you
It's
say that
really sad
you're
and
right,
really dangerous.
You're right when you say that they used to be the sort of the focal points of our, the industries of power and wealth and
Manufacturing
Yeah.
was huge in those areas.
Yeah.
It was
I
huge.
remember Newark, is how you say it, right?
Newark.
Newark.
I remember I knew it was dangerous because I fought Mirko Crow Cop out there, UFC 128, and we fought in New Jersey, and we stayed in New Jersey, in Newark.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't we were told not to go outside after like 7.
Yeah.
Like, well, these are the toughest guys on the planet.
Yeah.
They were like, no. Room service only. Like,
Yeah.
well, let's not stay here then.
I
Let's
know.
go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Exactly. 20
Anywhere
minutes
else,
out.
man.
It's
Anywhere
depressing.
I just did a show in Newark over the winter, and it is pretty great. Like Cory Booker like started it, and it is kind of transforming. But I mean, the amount of work. My sister's like
Cory
one of those
Booker
people.
is the mayor.
He's now the senator. He was the mayor. Yeah, the bald guy,
black guy.
African American. Yeah, and he would go out shoveling.
I say
He
black,
would-
you say African American.
Yeah, I said African American the other day, and my daughter, I have a 14-year-old, and they're so politically correct, and they're like learning all that stuff. And I said, she said, "Who's Keith Robinson? Who's my comedian?" Comedian.
He's hilarious.
And I said, he's been over, the African American comedian. Dad, that's racist. I was like, what? It's my friend. What? She said, how do you know he's from Africa? How do you know he's African American? You're just assuming that because he's black. I'm like, all right, I don't know.
I said the same thing. I do the same thing because I thought African American was politically correct. So when I
Right.
say it on here whenever I talk about someone, but then we'll get messages on our email or Instagram DMs where people are like, "Hey, man, quit saying African Americans."
I
never
Whoa,
do.
Someone help me out.
I
And
say,
as a
I
white
say
guy, you're
black,
just
I feel like
Karen.
black. I feel like black's racist
I
because
agree.
they're not black.
No,
Right.
But I say
It's
it
not
anyway.
a black color.
Fuck
Well,
it.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like with my daughters, like the younger one, they don't even say black or white people. They say darker, much darker skin, or whiter skin, or gross. That's
Which
how
is
they
more
talk.
accurate in a way, because if you look at
Yeah,
Gross?
that's really literally how they talk.
Well, what color's gross?
That's usually her father. But
Well,
they don't.
It
But
gets
I say
confusing though. It's like, oh, look
It
at that.
is.
Look at that darker guy over there.
I say caramel.
what they really need to
Coffee
know
color.
is we'll say anything. Just tell us what to do. Because as white guys, you don't want to offend.
Whatever I
You
can
just-
do so you don't get upset, let me know.
Right.
If it's slang, I'm in. I like to be hip. I like to be
Right.
cool.
I say the brother.
What do you say when you say?
That brother over there.
I was just texting my nephew before I
That's
came
racist.
in, and he's 20, and I'm just saying hello. So I said, "What's up?" And I was thinking, "What's up?" is kind of like an old guy.
Yeah.
Hello. What would you say now to an 18-year-old if you're just hitting your boy?
Sup. S-U-P. Sup.
Just sup.
It's short as sup.
Language is always changing.
I know, and it kind of kicks you out like the old lion.
Yeah.
It kicks
Well,
you out.
especially in text, because it's all about getting shorter. So, was it
Right.
TTYL? It took me forever to figure that out. Talk to you later. I'm like,
Yeah.
right.
It all depends. Sometimes you say Heil Hitler, like depending if you're, it all depends on where you are.
Just
With your
it
Jewish
if you're in-
depends who your friends
Yeah,
are.
yeah, I mean,
Because
if-
we joke around like that.
Yeah, like if you're in Germany in the 40s, you know,
Right.
and you have blonde hair and blue eyes, Heil Hitler.
And now
That's
it's
what
just
you'd
a
say.
little mustache emoji.
Now it's a
It's
mustache.
just a little short.
That's the
mustache.
inside. Like just if you
They
belong.
just shorten it down. It's just a little hand like this.
When they're happy, it's two
just-
walking boots.
No, I'm not saying I'm racist. I just belong to an order
Right,
that
right,
has strict membership.
right.
No, it is weird.
It's very
The
organized.
lingo in general is weird,
Yeah.
and you have to be careful. Like whenever if we're in these big business meetings, I have to say certain stuff. Like I use the word dope, or I'll say
Right.
fresh or sick, or some
Yeah.
of that old school lingo. And they're like, dope.
So true. Fresh, sick.
Right.
I'm like,
I
that's
tr-
so dope.
I try and go real retro, so it seems like I'm being cool, but it's really just covering up that I don't know any of the new stuff. Like I'll say swell and groovy and neat all the time.
I
in my-
love that.
Yeah.
Gee
so it kind of
whiz.
protects me.
Brian says gee whiz.
Gee whiz is
but
good.
dead
Gee whiz,
serious.
yep.
Gee whiz. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you Robin? I'm Batman. Do I look like Adam West? Gee whiz, Brendan. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I just did one yesterday where I screwed up a date to somebody, and like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, crab apples.
Crab apples.
That's a good one too.
God damn it.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, I think you're right. It's about 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were young bucks.
You've always had, since I've known you, and we're going back 20 years. So since you, since you were like 29, since you were, well, I guess 19. I probably met you when you were like 20.
No, I lie about my age.
Oh, okay, that's right. Oh yeah, you're not.
I'm not that.
fucking
I'm
liar.
not that young.
Yeah, you're my age.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking to myself, you always had sort of an older guy bearing. Like I saw you as a guy who
Like
was
an older soul?
I just thought Tom was a guy who, even in his 20s, you could see smoking a pipe, wearing a cardigan, and reading a fucking.
Like you was out in
leather-bound-
the clubs late
Yeah,
night.
reading a leather-bound edition of Moby Dick
Right.
by the fire with his golden retriever.
Like you
no-
wouldn't find him at the Playboy Mansion.
no,
No, you're not that guy.
Maybe.
Not going to the
You
club.
don't scream Playboy Mansion to
No.
me.
I'm not going to the club. No, I've always wanted. It's funny you say that because when I started acting in college, I was thinking like, wow, I'm really made for all the roles for like 45-year-old guys, like in Equus and All My Sons. I was like, I'm gonna really kill it in my 40s. But I've always wanted that stuff. I always wanted a smoking jacket.
Yeah.
I always kind of
Well,
wanted
your
that.
comedy, you've always been one of those guys who was able to kill rooms without using any bad words.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your comedy was always like really, really funny without resorting to
gift,
shock
huh?
value.
Yeah.
He's just a really good writer, man.
Yeah, and I go back and forth because so many the really super popular comedians are filthy.
Yeah.
So I do once in a while. I mean, I couldn't
You
do
think
it.
this day and age though.
Bill Burr uses fuck every other word. Right?
Louis
That's a
C.K.
Boston thing. Louis
Yeah.
C.K.
Louis
yeah.
C.K. It's all cum
Kevin
jokes.
Hart, not
Rogan.
too bad.
And Kevin Hart, not too bad. Amy Schumer,
Yeah, they're pretty raunchy.
they're pretty
Besides
dirty.
Kevin's
They're
not too bad, but Amy Schumer's pretty raunchy.
Yeah. So I mean, there's guys like Gaffigan and Brian Regan who are not.
I put you in that category.
Yeah, that's kind of where I
It's a
live.
good category to be in.
It's a good category. There's a big audience, but you also want to make you want to make the MTV kids laugh too. And for young guys, you just want to hear fuck. You just want to hear those
It is
words.
weird, but if you use it too much, it loses its power, right?
100%.
Like I remember, or we were in San Francisco. It was the first time So Brian and I do live shows, and I open
Yeah.
the live show with stand-up.
I watch you guys on
minutes.
Instagram. I see where you're
Thanks,
headed.
brother.
That's
Thanks,
what
man.
I like to hear.
So
September 22nd, San Jose. Keep
I
going.
think it might already be sold out.
Whoever
so,
puts
so
your little stuff
Oxnard,
together
Brea.
is
sold out.
Anyways, but so when we were at Cobb's in San Francisco, it was my uncle who passed away. It was his first time, and he's a big comedy fan. It's his first time seeing it. And I cussed. I said, I think fuck a few times. And he always sends notes. He'd send pages of notes. Whether I was playing football or fighting, he'd send pages of
Wow.
notes. And he was just like, what you need to. He's not mean about it. He's like, you need to do your research, because when you use a swear word, it's showing your lack of knowledge with your vocabulary, and you're a smart guy. And he goes, and when you use that, you're dulling yourself down.
Yeah.
He goes, go back and look over time. Steve Martin didn't use that.
That's right.
He's
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld doesn't do it. And he's like, listen, all the greats. And
Wow.
the end was do your research.
Interesting.
It's so
That's
so
so
helpful
cool that he
because,
did that for you.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it helps.
Legend,
it
yeah.
helps you in your writing if you say to yourself, "I'm not going to rely on bad words." I know when
Yeah.
I'm tired or when I'm not. I haven't worked a bit out enough, or
Yeah.
when I'm swearing.
Yeah,
And so
'cause
I always try not to swear.
It comes from fear. I do it.
Yeah.
The other night I was working on. I just shot this special. Comes out in December.
What do you have, like 40
And,
specials?
I have this is my fourth, and
Excellent.
and I have this. So I'm going into new territory. I'm starting to write some new stuff, and I went up at the Comedy Store, and I'm working on this couple new bits that I have no faith in, and fear comes in when I'm on stage, and I start saying shit, and
Yeah.
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 Approval, shit. I'm scared.
Yeah.
And then once the bit gets kind of like solid, all that stuff will go out of it. But a lot of it comes just purely from fear.
Well, he's in the process of writing because he's starting to do more of this stuff now. And I said, never look at your set as a noun. It's always changing. You just keep carving, keep coming back to it, keep carving. You'll find it.
Constantly.
The song will find itself, right?
But
Yeah,
also
yeah.
don't assume, like I do a lot more explaining, like I get in too much detail instead of the point.
Right.
And because I think, it's not that I assume the audience is stupid, but I assume they have no idea who I am, and I have to paint this picture.
Yeah.
And Brian's like, dude, you're doing too much.
Yeah, it's amazing. I always call it the incredible shrinking jokes, because now I'm going up the Laugh Factory, whatever, with a bit like on the page is probably 2 paragraphs, and if I really work on it, by the end of like a couple weeks, when it's really down to what's funny, it'll be about 3 lines maybe.
That's right.
It's just all that fat.
You distill.
You're over explaining because you're explaining
Less
to
is
yourself
more.
too. That's okay because
Yeah.
you're finding it too.
Yeah.
But you're thinning it out and thinning, because a great joke, and it depends on your style, but a great joke comes down to like poetry. It's like that potent.
That's right.
You're saying
that's right.
this. You're saying a huge concept, so direct and so small and succinctly that it has that much impact.
And then the other thing is when you
poetry.
rely
That
on
makes
bad
sense.
words, the fucks and all those can get in the way, in my opinion, of the harmony and the actual, because there's an economy of words, right? I think every joke is already written in terms of like there's a perfect amount of emphasis and perfect number of words in that bit.
Right.
And it takes, sometimes it'll take you a week, sometimes it'll take you a year, to find it. But
Yeah.
and I've heard songwriters say the same thing, but comedy is exactly the same way. It's rhythm, it's tempo, it's melody. So you can use a bad word sometimes
In the right places.
Yeah, because it can be
Right.
funny, it can be stamped, it can be what the fuck are you talking? Like when you
Right.
say what are you talking about versus what the fuck are you talking? Sometimes what the
places
fuck
for
are
it.
you talking about is funnier.
Well,
Yeah.
I had a football coach who, I think at University of Colorado, I think it was Barnett. He never ever cussed. And
Really?
before a big game, he cussed, and it was so much more powerful.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
never cussed. Talking to
Yeah.
100 gnarly Division I football players. We had some huge games.
Right.
And the one game, University of Nebraska, he finally cussed, and it was like, let's go! But if he
Yeah.
would have used that cuss word
Yeah.
every single practice, we'd been like, whatever, man. But he saved it. We're like,
Wow.
oh my God, did that just happen? Everyone's all, fuck yeah.
Yes.
It's a powerful word, and you're right. Like you can dilute it. Like there was a guy. We were coming out of a restaurant in New York, and I've got 2 little kids at the time, and my wife is like herding the kids and a couple other kids, trying to get them all onto the bus to go to the whatever they're doing. So it's like herding cats. When you're walking out, and this guy is walking up Broadway, and she's kind of like bangs into him a little bit. It's like a Sunday morning. He's not even going to work, but bangs into this guy a little bit with, 6 little kids, like knee high. And he gets in her face. And I'm holding the door at the restaurant, right? Letting the other people out. He gets in her face. and
Oh my God.
is like, excuse me, people, and is like in my wife's face, and I just see that some man is. So I come up to him, and I go, "What the fuck are you looking at? What the fuck do you think you're doing?" And just start. Fuck literally was like I punched him in the face.
Yeah.
The impact of that word knocked him back,
Yeah.
got him scurrying away,
Yeah.
and then he just split.
Yeah, it means
and I was like, oh, that word is powerful.
Yeah, it
weird,
is.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
very weird.
Yeah.
I say,
weird.
what the heck are you looking at? That's what I say.
Well,
But then I punch him.
Yeah.
And I when my fist connects, I go, "You fuck," and it hits him.
right.
Oh.
So you do the double.
I do the double.
That's so strange. The guy got in your wife's face, though.
Yeah. He was.
That's where I see red.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
completely. He was just, he was just kind of like this prissy, New York guy in the morning, just kind of trying to go where he's, some people like you've seen these people that are in New York too long, right? They never
Yes.
get out.
Yes.
They're just fried. Their nervous system is fried. They're just on edge. If anybody disobeys what they think are the rules of walking on the sidewalk, they flip out.
Well, that's
you know what I
almost
mean?
like-
They're
yeah.
just
New York stressed me out. Like, I'm not a New York guy. I love the city. I love certain aspects of it. I love the food, the culture, and all that. But the rat race, like Brian and I
Yeah.
were there at Gotham City. We're going back in November, matter of
Yeah.
fact. We're taking subways, doing all this stuff. And I told Brian, how did you do this? Like,
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, man.
It's-
Everyone needs to chill. And literally, it's not like, in LA, you'll see someone, it's like, hey, how you doing? Maybe off Abbott or something like
Yeah.
that. In New York, everyone had a plan.
Yeah.
And they were fucking going.
Yeah.
And you could probably walk by the same person every single day of your life and never know who they are. Don't
Amazing.
know what they look like.
Remember,
I was
amazing.
exhausted.
But remember,
It's exhausting. It is.
So much of what the people that came to this country, most of them came through Ellis Island.
Yeah.
New York was where you
Yeah.
came.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was always insane. The Five Corners with all the gangs that would fight. I mean, it was always
I
insane.
saw gangs in New York.
Oh yeah, it was always
Intense.
insanity, man.
And it's
the
just-
'70s when the Bronx was on fire, and what came out of it? The rap game.
Yeah.
Like, all this insane.
No, it's
insane
great,
stuff.
and there's cool stuff. I just
Pressure
if
cooker.
you're not
Pressure
used to that,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh,
LA,
100%.
I'm like, holy fuck, get me back to LA.
Yeah.
I'm from Denver, so that's
Right.
even slower.
Yeah.
Like I'd say LA's in third gear, Denver's in first gear.
It's very rare that you're
Yes.
going to go to New York as an adult. Like you've got to go right when you're out of school as a kid and go there because your energy matches the place and you can
But
you
it's
can make it work.
changed.
You're not going in back when you're like 40. I'll go back eventually for sure. I'm going to end up living there again, but once my kids are raised out here. But you couldn't just I'm telling all my nephews, like, go live in New York now.
Yeah.
And maybe it won't last and you'll get out, maybe you'll like it, but you're not going to roll in there when you're 35 and
No,
be like,
I
let me
need open
start.
field. I need
Yeah.
to spread my wings, man. Meet some people.
It's better than I mean, now it's way more orderly than it was when we were like in our 20s. I mean, New York was insane. New York was because you had the crime element too.
Yeah.
And you had the neighborhoods you couldn't go into, or certainly not at night. You would not go in Central Park at night. When I worked at Lehman Brothers, a friend of ours came in. He was really sad because his buddy had took a shortcut through Central Park, got shot in the back.
Oh
and
my
killed.
God.
Yeah, and it was a daily.
How is
Yeah.
the entertainment business different out there than here? Obviously, all my experience is here in Los Angeles.
As a comedian, there's nothing better because there's more clubs than any in a smaller amount of space. You can get a ton of stage time. You're around these great comics that are holding you to a high level, and you have the intensity of living there all the time. So your brain is constantly activated and writing, and there's no better place on the planet
Agreed.
to become a stand-up comedian.
Agreed. You can do 5 sets in a night.
Yeah.
I used to sometimes do 4 sets at least.
Yeah.
And Steve Byrne would always talk about doing like 5 sets in a
Yeah.
night. You know,
It was nuts.
Dove would do 5 sets in a night.
It's almost like training camp.
and you can
Yeah,
make your
it is.
living just doing local spots.
Really?
You could make a
You
good
can't
living.
do that out here.
No.
No. And you really, I mean, you can, but you're cobbling together a lot.
You're cobbling it together, man. When New York, you're right with that energy, that pressure cooker energy.
Yeah,
and
so
the fact
great.
that you're performing all the time, and the best comics in the world from the East Coast.
Oh, my God.
And just you just have Greg Giraldo, you'd have all those.
Oh
fucking
my
guys out
God!
there.
You just Nick DiPaolo and Colin Quinn
Oh.
and Dave Attell and all these just
Dave
killers,
Attell.
Louis
Yeah,
C.K.
all the
and
legends, yeah.
everyone just like stumbling
Artie
around
Lang.
and doing it,
Oh,
and you're like,
everyone, man.
all right, well,
Yeah.
I got to get good really fast.
Yeah.
I always say it was like the gym, like going to the gym. Like that was like the Rocky, like that's going and
man.
pounding the beef. And then you go out and do shows out of town.
What I love hearing in Brendan's voice is that Brendan, who was this great athlete and majored in sports,
Yeah.
secretly, and he's finding his way now, secretly has always wanted to be an artist because he is an artist. He's very, very creative and has an amazing imagination and a great sense of humor. But I can feel, not even looking at him, I can feel in his voice the sadness of not having come up with all of us.
Oh, yeah.
And because you've said that many times, you'd give up all your all the athletics to do that.
Really?
100%.
Really?
Oh yeah, everything. I would like if someone said would you rather win the Super Bowl, be MVP, or be on Saturday Night Live? I'd pick Saturday Night Live.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I just got done with the 25th or 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, and because they talk about behind the scenes and how, you know, it's just the cast of all stars, man.
Oh my God.
The who's who, and
I know.
and, you know, Phil Hartman and Belushi and Aykroyd and Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy. I mean, you go
crazy.
Adam Sandler. I'm just like, God, these are fucking legends, man. And then they get done with the show, and then they go hang out at this bar.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. I told Brian, like, I want that, man. Like, I want like that. Or on Wednesdays when they do the table reads and they all do their pitches.
Yeah.
Like, I
You
want
and Brian
that,
don't
man.
hang out after this?
We
always
do, but there's no Belushi, there's no Dan Aykroyd, there's no Eddie Murphy.
Well, you know, and,
like we're the funniest ones in the group. That ain't good.
and then they'd go back to these little shoebox apartments. You know, the theater world is the same way. I've spent a lot of time like in New York when you guys, you know, you guys really went and did so much more stand up. I did the acting route.
Right.
You know, I didn't do stand up. I mean, I didn't do the road until I was 36 or
Right.
something.
Acting and then kind of then came
stand
into it. Right?
Yeah.
But for me, I remember just the theater world, right, in New York, and I never did Broadway, but I did some off Broadway stuff, and then I would go to Broadway plays, or I'd go to off Broadway plays with these great actors, some of whom I knew, some of whom were my friends. And everybody would get together at a bar after these bohemians, right? After doing this play, he made no money, but it was fucking amazing work.
Yeah.
It was great writing. Playwrights Horizons or Ethan Hawke with his with Malaparte. Remember, he had a theater company, and Ethan Hawke they put on these little plays that maybe 50 people would go to, and then everybody would come out and we'd all be drinking and stuff. And I just so badly, I was like, God, everybody wanted to make it so badly.
Tom, did you know you wanted to be a stand-up comic from day one?
Yeah, when I was a kid. I was always funny, and then I heard Steve Martin's Let's Get Small. My friend's older brother had it and played the album, and then later that week, I heard George Carlin's Class Clown that my friend had from his father.
Amazing.
And I was like, oh, so this is a job. Like, you can be funny as a job. Yeah. And then I started watching Saturday Night Live and getting into it, and I was like, well, yeah, I want to do that.
When I was in high school and in college, my dad used to take, when I'd come back from, I went away to school. Yeah. And when I'd come back to New York and my father would be back from overseas, he would take us to the Improv.
Oh, really?
I would see Dom Herrera, young Dom Herrera.
Wow, really?
I mean, you saw all the greats.
Oh, that's great.
And I would sit in that audience, being the class clown, funny guy.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, well, I'll never do that. That's way out of my reach.
Wow.
I'll never be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
And wanting to so badly, but of course never saying anything. But I would come back and redo the jokes.
Right.
For
your
my
friends.
dad and his friends.
Oh, that's great.
And I would remember them and stuff. And
oh, that's
thinking
the best.
back on it, what a sort of, it was sort of my training wheels. It was sort of my saying.
I feel like in New York, if you're a kid in New York, Los Angeles, New Jersey, Boston especially. Oh, yeah. If you, let's say you grew up watching Saturday Night Live, or you grew up and your dad was a fan of comedy, there's almost, not that there's a direct path, but you at least have the possibility. You know, you're like, I can kind of see I can get into that.
Because you meet people who are doing it.
And there's certain, you know, it's show business and it's around there, and there's other great guys from there.
There are avenues.
If you're from the Midwest, like in Denver, like, you know, I loved it, but it was like, no, like there's no what?
Right,
no,
exactly.
Go fucking pick up a football. What are you doing? You know, like there's no
support system for it.
It wasn't even a thought. Like the possibility of doing that. It's like
that was for
other
people.
You might as well be. I might as well tell my dad I want to be an astronaut. Like he's like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not in the cards.
Well, you were also a really gifted athlete. I mean, you know, if you run faster and you're stronger than everybody in your class, go pick that football up. Yeah. You got something to do.
My father was an athlete, and I played football all the way through senior year. And I was an athlete. I was just the whole time growing up. I was funny and I was a class clown, but I was an athlete. But I knew going into senior year, my size and what I could do. You know, I was good for my school. You know, I was captain. I did the whole thing. But I knew I got to pull the plug on this because I'm kind of tired of football now. I'm not going to go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
And I literally went to this Rider College in New Jersey because they got in trouble and they had to they kicked their football team out. They dissolved the football team. So my father really wanted me to just play Division III, just keep going. And I was like, we went on this tour for Rider, and they told us that this football team was no more, but they had a theater department. I was like, I'm going to go here.
Yeah.
And my dad was disappointed, but I knew I got to change gears.
Yeah, man. The first time
That's rare. I think it's rare that guys do that, though.
Yeah. You know what else is
I
the
did
thing,
that.
too, about growing up in those spots as opposed to like the Midwest is that everybody's funny in those areas, in those cities. I mean, everybody. The women who work at the grocery store, the guy that runs that does the cab, everyone's funny. So if you're funny in that environment where just regular people are really funny and have their own acts, if you feel like you're funny among all those people, you kind of have the confidence like I can be as funny as anyone on the planet.
But you know, acting's weird because the first time I went to theater school, right? So I went to the neighborhood playhouse, and before that I went to the Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City.
Wow.
And when you go to a theater school, what's really interesting is that there's nothing there. Like, so you walk into a room and there might be a black box theater. There might be a big black sort of stage.
Yeah.
And you're going to get up and do exercises, which might be, I don't know. You guys cluck around like chickens, or let's move around and act like you're a wave. And you're like, it's embarrassing. It's fucking. I'll tell you the other shit they make you do.
Humiliating.
I'll tell you the other shit they make you do as a guy.
This is acting classes?
You're kissing guys?
No, you're not kissing guys, but
The instructor made you suck his dick?
No, I don't remember.
Every Tuesday.
There's a lot of stammering right there. There's a lot of stammering in that answer.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Oh, you're going to pay for the classes.
Yeah, you got to pay for the classes. I'll sweep the floor. They make you do shit. This is so embarrassing. I don't know the dude in front of me. I just met you, and we're going to grok. You know what grokking is?
No.
Well, I'm going to put my hands out like this. Got my hands out like Jesus. You put your hands on top of my hands. Let's look into each other's eyes.
Does that really help, though?
I'm getting embarrassed saying it.
Did Denzel Washington do this bullshit?
Bro,
sure didn't.
Try this right now with me.
This
and
is
tell me it's
taking
not
advantage of
embarrassing.
kids with really no talent, just taking their money.
I see
you're
De
supposed
Niro
to-
walking
no,
out of
you're
that
supposed
class.
to make yourself emotionally available. Put your hands in my
Denzel
hands right
didn't
now.
do this
Tell
shit.
me this isn't awkward. Look at me and don't smile.
Wait, on top? Or
Palm to
on
palm.
top of my hands, touch
Palm
my
to
hands,
palm.
touch them.
Oh, no, you're playing that.
No, we're not.
No.
I wish.
This
No,
is
no.
softness.
We're being soft, and now we're gonna look at each other's eyes, and you're gonna go from person to person. But I'm looking at you. I don't know you, dude. Ready? And we're gonna be quiet. And I want.
Really put your palm in his palm.
And
You're
don't
kind of,
smile.
You're kind of hovering. Let it go.
You're touching
I
my
see you're
palm.
hovering. He doesn't want to
You're touching
do
my
it.
palms. We're standing there, and now, by the way, and the teacher's saying,
Bradley Cooper
the
have to
teacher's
do
saying,
this?
sure he did, and the teacher's saying things like, if you feel like crying, let it out.
And guys start crying?
Hey man, not me, because I'm embarrassed the whole time, like I am right now doing this with you. Dude, one of the guys went like this. He just went, he was looking at me and his eyes, and he just had this wounded expression. And then I start to see tears come from his eyes.
Oh, no.
And then she goes, ready? She goes, all right. She goes, let's switch. And he goes, and he grabs my hands and holds me and looks at me. And then I move on. Was that number one? You ain't never gonna make it. Number two,
was that
I'm
Daniel
fucking
Day-Lewis or some shit?
Yeah, I wish it was. I wish that was the story.
But that's
It turned out.
Yeah,
That was Daniel
That was
Day-Lewis.
Dan Day-Lewis.
That was his
But that's
first
why
day
you have
acting.
such freedom on stage. That's why you, unlike a lot of performers,
Yes.
a lot of comedians are very closed off and very
Guarded.
You are free.
Very
I bet
animated.
it becomes right.
Listen,
Don't you think that had something to do with
I
it?
do think it has something to do with it because what it does is it makes you comfortable with your emotions. If you don't think I cried 25 times in front of a bunch of strangers because I was failing at acting when I did a scene, or in
How's
the
that
scene,
work? Are they like, all right, everybody, who has shit going on?
I'll tell you.
And then they're like, Brian, how you doing? You're like, what?
Oh no,
I can't land anything.
not that.
And then everyone's like, me neither.
Nope, that's
it's
not
just
what
a
they do.
full class of shitheads.
No, this is what you have. You usually
Just
have
no one got
you
anything
have a
ever.
man in his 50s who's an actor, and please know, please understand.
Still in acting class.
Yeah, well,
It's over.
He's teaching acting.
Oh,
He's
okay.
teaching. Then please know, when you're in front of a guy like Jeffrey Tambor, Emmy Award-winning, amazing actor Jeffrey Tambor, when you're in front of a guy named Richard Pinter, who has been teaching class acting for, 40 years, you're talking about a master at human behavior. You're talking about a guy who can read everything you do, from the way you dress, from the way you walk, from the way, and I'm not joking.
Yeah, no,
and
you're
from
right.
how your voice sounds. They can tell you they know everything you're ashamed of and everything you're proud of. And
So
man,
they knew if you got a gig or
scary.
not?
bro, they would know. No, you'd do a scene and they would say something like this. They'd go, "Oof, what's going on with you and your dad?" And you'd go, "What? Nothing. Everything's great." And everybody's watching. And you just did a scene and you're embarrassed, you're nervous, and you're young and you don't know what the fuck is going on. And they go, "You judge him, huh? Mean to you?" "No, it's not mean." He goes, "Well, what if I said maybe you should stop judging him and maybe start loving him?"
Is this in front of the whole class?
Uh-huh. And then you go, "I do." He goes, "Ooh, you're swallowing. That's interesting. You feel emotional right now? What are you guarding right now?" Dude, but they
did
can
you
get
take
in,
acting
they can
classes,
get into your
Tom?
I
fucking
did.
kitchen. They'll get
For
in
how
your
long?
kitchen.
I did it in college, so 4 years of college, and then like a year or two after college.
And you're into acting now, or
yeah,
stand-up?
I act too. Yeah, I've been in a lot of popular movies that you probably
Well, I don't know.
saw me in.
Like what, Tom?
Like in 30 seconds. Behind the Candelabra, you know that thing with Matt Damon, and
Dude,
Michael
that's
Douglas.
one of my top 5 favorite movies.
It's just a
You
small
are in
thing.
that.
Yeah, it's okay. And
That's
You
the
seem like
informant
you're
with
being- you seem like you're
Matt
bragging, but you're
Damon, it's
trying-
not that
you-
big.
What
a
was the
deal.
other one?
The Informant was
Yes.
Soderbergh. He's a director.
you see, you're acting modest, but it sounds
What?
like you're bragging right now.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but you're acting like it's no big deal, but it kind of is.
I mean, can you list off
is
some
it?
more? Maybe just a couple more. Dude,
Tom Papa's no joke.
Is it?
Tom Papa's a real talent.
Michael Douglas should have won a fucking.
Yeah. Well, he won the Golden Globe,
First of all, I never saw that, and I can't.
and he won the. Yeah.
Man, it is some. I mean,
And he won the Emmy for it, and
and then Matt Damon.
yeah, it would have won an Oscar if he had been, but it wasn't a film. It was on
Fuck,
HBO.
It is good. It's
so
so
good.
well
About
done.
Liberace, right?
Oh my god.
Oh my God!
It
I
is
mean,
so well done.
so amazing. I mean, literally, there was one point where it is Michael Douglas, Dan Aykroyd, Matt Damon, and me on camera. Like it's just that.
It's pretty cool, dude.
It's
That's
so,
pretty cool.
That's
yeah,
amazing,
it's
man.
the
You're with
coolest.
some real
Matt
talent
Damon's
there.
so good in that.
Hearing Michael Douglas, our age, hearing Michael Douglas was like the guy. Just hearing
course he
his
was.
voice.
Of course. You grew up with him.
Just
Part of
hearing
your
his
history.
voice, it's like that's the biggest movie star in the world, and now he's like talking to you. There was one time when we're in a scene, and he's dressed like Liberace with the sparkles and the whole thing, and I'm
white
dressed in
cape.
paisley pants and
Yeah.
the Cuban heels, and we're not mic'd because it's Matt's scene up front, and we're in the background of the dressing room, so we're just back there, and they can't hear what we're saying, and Matt's doing the scene, and Soderbergh is known for going really quickly. You do one take, maybe 2 takes, and you move on. And it's kind of taking a long time. And Michael Douglas, bless you, as Liberace, is saying to me, "Geez, he's really taking his time. He usually goes much faster. Of course, on the day I've got to take a dump." So when you see me in the background of this, that's all I'm thinking is trying not to laugh that the biggest movie star in my life is telling me he's going to take
I was watching a behind the
I gotta
scenes thing
take
with
a
that,
dump.
and because so it's Matt Damon and Michael Douglas, it's Liberace and his gay lover, right?
Right.
So they're asking Matt, like, were some of the scenes uncomfortable? He's like, the tough one, he's in the pool and Liberace's in a Speedo, and they're both in Speedos,
Yeah.
and he has to straddle Michael Douglas, like, get on, and what's up, babe, and kiss him.
Yeah.
And he was like, there's nothing against it, but that was like a little uncomfortable
I
for me.
think
Like, I have
so.
to straddle, they're like dick to dick, kiss on the lips by the pool.
Yeah.
It was, and he's like, yeah, that one was a little tough.
I had an audition. God damn it. That's very difficult.
That movie's so good, man.
Yeah, and like being on set with them, it was like when it was time to like do those kind of scenes, it just like everybody just got kind of a little more mellow and just went to work and just kind of did it because it was intimate in the way, and I think that's what made the movie so great. It wasn't flamboyant. I mean, it was in some regards, but the intimate moments, it was really like what you as a straight guy would think is boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yes.
Just like little moments of holding hands, watching TV in your sweatpants, kissing on the lips, like all that, which as a straight guy is the thing that creeps you out the most. You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
But
I
you
when
don't
think
feel
of-
like that in that movie.
But
You're
they-
100% correct. It's literally like you just see this relationship of just two human beings. Like, and
That's
and
why-
I'll be the first
forget
guy.
that it's dudes.
I'll be the like when sometimes I like it's tough for me, and
Yeah.
there's nothing against it. But when I see two guys like deeply passionately kissing, I'm like, that makes me feel a little weird. I'm not used
Yeah,
to it.
exactly.
And in this, they you don't feel that way. You forget
That's why
about it.
their
It's
acting was
such
so
a
great.
art
Dude,
form,
I
man.
had an audition in the
Whoever
Village.
did the wardrobe should. Hopefully, they won a goddamn
She
Emmy
did.
or whatever it
She
is.
did. She's amazing.
The wardrobe
Was
is
it Amy Roth?
nuts.
Who was it?
Oh, man, I'm spacing on her name.
It's
I really wanna
the
look
ward
up.
like for Liberace's wardrobe
so
and
good.
these. Wow,
She's really talented. She's
you
like
know
won
who else they
Oscars.
forget about in that movie is Rob Lowe.
Oh my
he
God! How
Rob Lowe is
amazing
a
was
plastic
he?
movie,
surgeon.
man.
He was hilarious.
I
He
gotta
played
see
the
this
plastic
movie.
surgeon, and his whole face is
so
pulled
funny.
back.
His face is
Oh my
pulled back. He has
God.
a
It's the
horrible
best.
tan.
Really?
And he's like, we're just gonna do a little nip tuck, and that's what we're gonna do. And he's giving them drugs, and it is.
Dude, I
Rob
so
Lowe,
good.
he has like he's not a ton in it, but he's great.
He's
I
so
had
good.
an audition. I had an audition in the Village. I got set up with, and I was a young guy, and I get there, and I didn't realize like sort of. I came there with a scene, and then they gave me another scene. Well, I knew the guy was gay, and I knew, but she had the scene. It was a play, and the guy who I recognized him. He was kind of a character actor, but he had a fucking goiter.
Oh,
He had a goiter in his neck.
uh-huh.
And he was very gray and
Yeah.
older. And I was probably 26, 27. And she goes, so in this scene, I want you to really just be in love with him. And I want you to look at him like he's just so delicious. Like lick your lips. Like, this is your man. And he's just this sexy. He's your, like,
This is your
I
man.
swear to God, she goes, he's like your daddy. Like you are his boy and he loves you. And I want to see, because for this play to work, you guys have to really be in love. So touch him and bring him in and kiss him and nibble on his ear.
And his
I remember
goiter.
doing this fucking for this audition.
man.
I'm like, dude, I can't. This guy has a goiter. He's got no hair on top. I go, I'm not. You want me to fucking nibble goiter man's?
I'm not that
fucking
good.
Nibble goiter man's.
I don't want
He's
this
gotta-
job that bad.
First of all, get some iodine in your diet. What the fuck? How the fuck do you have a goiter? Number one.
Did you ever see when The Rock is one of his first like roles that he did, not being this meathead action hero, Scorpion King? He was in I think Get Shorty 2. I forget whether Be Cool. And he plays a gay like bouncer.
Right.
It's his best role, man. You should
Really?
see him
He's
in
really
it.
good.
He's funny.
Yeah.
He's
amazing.
homosexual, but that's when you're like, oh fuck, this guy can act.
And and it is like, we've gone so far, but like Michael Douglas was saying, when he was younger, he probably wouldn't have taken the role that Matt had taken.
Oh, no.
Because society would have looked at him in such a different way. But Matt was able to do it because we are so much more accepting, and he did that role
in
and
this
then
country,
moved on.
Well,
in this
look
country,
at look
you
at
have
Jake
trouble casting
Gyllenhaal.
it in Spain or places like that a lot of times.
Well, you know what was
not
weird?
That, not nothing against the Spanish, but I'm saying there are very macho cultures where you still
sure.
the actors are like, it's like in Spain they couldn't find somebody for that woman I think it's a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown. They couldn't find a male actor who would let a woman tie him up. So there are a lot of cultures.
Here's
where-
completely
Wow.
different. I mean, if you look at Brokeback Mountain, what it did for Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And
Great.
think about that risk. Think about their agent calling, because before there really wasn't anything like that. Think about your agent calling your manager, going, "All right, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna be a cowboy, and then you're gonna fall in love with this other cowboy, and you're gonna fuck in a tent."
Dude,
Like behind the candelabra, you enter Liberace's world, right? So it's this Vegas, blown out, really extravagant world. So for me, like watching the intimacy in that there's something about you're just in another world.
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
different.
but Brokeback, watching those two like dudes like in a tent.
Men.
That for me still makes me uncomfortable.
Me too.
I couldn't
And
go through.
I know it sounds fucked up, or
I know, but
I'm not
it's just
homosexual at all. But
not-
when he leaves his wife and they're in, he's kissing his wife upstairs and he sees his friend out the window.
Yeah.
Comes down and he's in fucking Wranglers and this Levi's shirt and just grabs him and just makes out with him. Like, God damn, that's
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah. And
Imagine those two going like, yeah, all right, I'll do it, man.
Yeah,
you
let's
know?
go do it. Well,
How
they're
crazy
just great
that's what an actor does. My
So
my
did
agent
you-
called me about Queer as Folk and said, "Here's the," and I read the script and they wanted me to come in for the pilot.
Yeah.
And I said, "You know what, dude? I go, I can't go to Vancouver, wake up at 6 a.m. and be making out with a guy naked in a bed at 8 a.m. because it's a great show. I don't want to do that. It's actually for me. It would just." I'm squeamish about making out with a dude for a job.
Yeah.
It's not because I care about what people think about me. I
No,
just
it's just
didn't want
instinctually,
I'm just not
you're not
attracted
comfortable.
to guys at all. And frankly,
Yeah.
making out, like he's a good looking guy. Making out with him, it just is. I would
Yeah.
have a very hard
I
time.
could
So
do
what
it. I could do it for a movie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've done
you-
it. I've done it in plays. I've done
Yeah.
it, but
I bet you have.
One movie
Yeah.
you're in. That's one scene. That's 1 hour of having to do that scene. To do a series like that, you're there for
Yeah,
a
that's true.
year, and then
'Cause
it
you
gets
gotta-
picked up, and you
yeah.
got to go back.
you gotta make it
Season
believable.
6.
Yeah,
What-
you gotta make it believable.
What'd
too.
you do with the goiter guy? Did you end up? Were you able to do it?
No,
They ended up
I
dating?
did. I auditioned and I had to hold him and nibble on his ear, but it was so bad because I just wasn't. I couldn't do it, and he had that fucking goiter, and he was. I think he was straight too.
Were you
and
just like, I can't do
no,
this?
I went through the fucking thing. I read the script. I was trying
Yeah.
to read my lines and going, "You're." I was playing I can't remember. But I was playing like a sprite, like a fucking elf in a forest, and he was my master.
Was
or
it
You're a
something.
gay
Midnight-
elf?
was
Dude,
it
is this
Shakespeare?
a
Was-
porno?
It may
Midnight
as well have
Summers-
been a porno. Maybe it was a dream.
You're dressed as an
Maybe it was a
elf, and
dream.
this guy's a giant.
Maybe
What
this
the
was a
fuck is
porno.
going on?
Yeah,
here?
maybe the story's not even true. Maybe this was a dream. No.
Maybe it's a fantasy.
Yeah, maybe it's a whole
I'm dressed as I'm a bad elf, and he's just this gay Sam.
I had a lizard skin cock ring on. Remember that? And
Remember that? They say I know.
yeah, and I was getting fucked.
See, I know I have a red nose on. I'm getting fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I could see his goiter
called
at the
Bad
corner of my
Rudolph.
eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying,
Have
"Call
you,
me dad."
Tom, have you had any weird or strange auditions or anything happen on stage?
No, nothing like no. The most humiliating part for me was in New York was going to commercial auditions.
Oh God.
That was something that really just hurt your soul. Like,
Why? How
like
so?
that stuff. Like even being intimate with a guy if you're straight, but you're acting in a play or whatever. But you go to these commercial auditions, they just treat you like garbage.
Cattle.
You're with
Cattle.
cattle call. There's just a ton of guys in there going for the same part, and the casting directors. No one's in it for the art, right? They're all in it just to sell these products and get this client happy. So they're in it. The casting people are kind of shitty, and they treat the people kind of shitty, and they bring
hate
you
that,
in there, and they make you like jump around like a clown and do these awful things. And the worst part is you go through all of it, and you're like, screw these people. But then you get home, and you're like, did I get it?
I hope I got it.
I hope I got it. And then they make you want it.
Or you're on call for it.
Oh.
Maybe I got it.
Right.
It's so weird to me.
the
Why
worst.
they just become they become disassociated with the feelings of human interaction. It's the
Yeah.
same thing in sports, in the UFC. I won't mention name, but there's certain people, the UFC brass, where they see these gladiators fight so much they forget what's actually going on.
They're human.
Right.
They just
just
that's a
meat.
human being, man. He has a family. He's trying to feed his friends or family friends and all that.
Yeah.
So they become so kind of just it's
Impersonal.
normal for them.
Yeah.
And so the way they treat the guys, or even in the NFL, I remember when I was doing pro days, someone took a measurement of my the length of my hand, and it was a scout from I think the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals, and there was all these scouts there, and they're doing all these measurements, and they went from school to school, and we're their fourth school in 2 days or some shit like
Right.
that, and they're just so used to it. And they measure my hand, and he goes, no, there's no way he's catching a football. Yeah, it's too small. It's 9'7". Next, and it's like,
Wow.
holy fuck!
Oh my
Wow.
God.
The fuck. I've caught probably a jagillion balls in my life. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God.
But
Just
it's
like
literally
that.
just like you're like
You're cattle.
Wow.
You're a tool. You're a tool.
13. No, way too big. Way too big. You can't be fast 13. Who else we got? It's like,
But don't
You're-
you think?
you're a
since
number.
I was 4, this is my dream.
Yeah.
You piece of
my whole
shit.
life.
It's literally like, who the fuck are you? But even with auditions and I've been on auditions here where they're like, next.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I get it, man. This I got to play the game. You got to treat me like a fucking human being. Hate to tell you, I don't need this gig. I got another gig that fucking kicks ass. I'm just here because my agent sent me here.
Yeah.
Treat me like a fucking human. I'm gonna take my dick out and piss on everybody.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. When you have another gig, it gives you power. And that when I started making it as a comedian, I would show up. I started like not going to the commercial auditions. And then when I would show up, if the line was too long, I just walk out. You know what I mean? I'm like,
It's
I'm
a
not
good
putting
thing.
myself through that anymore.
Yeah.
It's too
But
humiliating.
I just can't imagine being in any position of power or where you have the naysay to tell people if they got the job or
Yeah.
not, where you automatically you just start treating people like shit.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I think
Yeah,
those people
like
are
what's-
already that way, Brendan. Like, for example, like one of the things that always hurts my feelings is when you have a guy, like I saw it with Tim Tebow a lot. Like Tim's dream, he was a great football player, and by all accounts, a great guy. And he didn't, he got cut, I guess, after his first season in the NFL.
Right.
This is a young man's dream, right? Who
Yeah.
did everything right.
Fourth season.
Yeah, fourth season, but this is his dream.
Yeah.
He worked his ass off, and you'd have people say this. They'd go, "He's done. He's done. He's out. Nah, he's done." And you dismiss a man's entire life,
whole
and his
life.
dreams and his effort. And you see this all the time with acting. Nah, he's done. He's done. He's finished. He's
Yeah.
fucking that movie bombed. You hear this shit in Hollywood. He's fucking done.
Yeah,
he's never gonna. And you're like, bro, that's a guy who has bills to pay with a family, who's dedicated his entire life, has done really good work.
Yeah.
And because of 1,000 things,
Sports
you're
is
just
worse.
and sports is
Sports is a lot
ruthless.
worse. Well, I
It's
talk about it all the
ruthless.
time.
And coming against
with
them.
Uriah Faber. I don't know if you watch Uriah Faber, one of the greatest fighters of all time. If there's a Mount Rushmore, we can't have 4. Uriah makes it. There's gonna be like 10.
Right.
Uriah's in one of the 10. He's Hall of Famer
100%,
easily.
100%.
Yeah.
He's only lost one fight that was in a title fight.
He's incredible.
He just lost 2 fights. He lost the title, then he lost to this monster, Jimmy Rivera. So people are like, "Oh, he's done, retire." I'm like, "What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
What the
Just
fuck
cast
is
them
wrong
off.
with you?" But it gets really bad online because there's no human-to-human interaction.
It's
So
faceless.
there's a hate culture online where when someone's trying something new or if someone's putting themselves out there, they automatically hate on it. But
Yeah.
if they were sitting where you're sitting and you went, "Hey man, I'm doing stand-up on Tuesday at the Comedy Store," they go, damn, that takes balls, man. That's pretty cool.
Right.
But when it's online, like
They
I
just-
posted, I'm doing stand-up at the Comedy Store on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think you're? What are you, Kevin Hart? Fuck you. It's like
The
Jesus
worst.
Christ,
The
man.
worst. And with the Tebow thing was such a great example of it because people were against him from day one, just ripping him apart online, just awful. Then he reboots and does this baseball tryout. And I actually played for my daughter who's 11, who's just in gymnastics and basketball and just starting as an athlete. And I showed his press conference when he hadn't made the team yet, but he had tried out and did the whole thing. And he just gave like this. He was like, "This is my dream. I had 2 dreams when I was a kid. I wanted to be a quarterback and lead my friends and win the game. And I loved hitting a baseball.
Yep.
And this is my dream." And he's built. He's just doing all the right stuff. And he gave this little couplet of, "This is your dream. You got to shut everybody else out.
Purity.
Go after it." And just the purity of what he was saying. And I played it for my daughter, and I could see it resonate with her. Like this was a real inspiring moment from this guy she knows nothing about.
Yeah, but what
But it
Tim,
was so-
what Tim represents, you're 100% correct. I don't mean to cut you up. But Tim's thing was, I know people are going to say this is just an act. I don't care. And he goes, "I've never made a decision based off what other people are going to say.
Yeah.
I don't care." I don't. And he doesn't.
He's
he has,
great that way.
He doesn't look at social media. He doesn't look at the news. He does not. He goes, "Well, I'm doing this so that you guys critique all you want over here.
Yeah.
The monkeys in the trees or the sheep, go ahead and critique the lion who was a Heisman winner, who played in the NFL, won an AFC West championship,
Yeah.
beat the Pittsburgh Steelers." What? Oh, and then now 22 teams offered him a professional baseball contract.
Yeah.
You riders over here, the Cheeto fingers, go ahead, keep critiquing. He's just going to keep doing this.
The best. That moment was just like, for me, it's like he rode the storm, and he's still great. He's still better and more at peace in his own mind than anybody else. I was like, this is a great example.
Do you watch sports?
Yeah.
What do you
No,
watch?
well, a
I'm
guy
big
like
in-
Tim can't. We'll move on. But a guy like Tim Tebow can't lose. When you wake up as Tim
Yeah.
Tebow, you're already better. You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing what your dream is. So there's no losing for him.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to see people tear these guys
But
down.
he's got to be mentally strong because, I mean, there's a lot of guys that end up spinning it, right? That are listening to it all.
Tim is the God of all the athletes I know and friends. Tim's the strongest mentally that anyone I know by far. By far.
Do you think that people just really start hating on him because of the religious part?
The religion thing, number one. Number two, he's good looking, right?
Yeah.
So probably your girl's going to like him. So
Right.
whenever you see a good looking athlete, you're going to get
Right.
50-50 because a lot of guys are going to hate him because their girl might go, damn, that guy's hot. All right, well, fuck him. So that guy's going to hate on him when he can. The other thing is he happens to be one of the best, if not the best college football player of all time. So that there's another reason. Then he goes to NFL, everyone goes, he can't do it. Well, he starts for the Denver Broncos, wins the AFC West Championship, then wins a fucking playoff game. So it's like, God damn it. So then when he goes to the Jets, where it sucks, there's no one around him. It doesn't work out there. Everyone's like, yes, got him. Did you?
Finally got him.
Did you? Because he signed
He's not that much better than me.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they're like, God, finally he's going to go away. I guess, man, guys like that really don't go away because then he just signed a 7-figure deal with ESPN to be on Sports Center, critique the SEC. Sorry, man. And they're like, God damn, well, at least he's not playing more. Nope, wrong. Nope, now he's going to do the Major League Baseball.
I think people like that
a
who work that hard.
The best,
people who work that hard.
His work ethic.
When they're relentless, they remind you of what you're not doing. So people don't like to be reminded of the hard work they're not doing.
That's right.
And how their whole life has been a cop out.
Yeah.
And whenever somebody who's really accomplished makes you feel that way, take a look at yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Take a look.
You know what?
I was just watching him in another video, taking a giant tire and flipping it over, and you're sitting at home doing nothing. You can't even do a push-up.
You know what, though? As much as we talk about the haters and the negativity around it, there's way more positivity.
Yes.
Like if I post, and I'm nothing compared to Tim Tebow, if I post a workout video, the positive comments and the DMs I get from people saying, I needed this, man. Dude, I wasn't going to work out. I see this. This is great. I see way more of that than I do negativity.
Really?
So
way more. But
that's
the
awesome.
negativity, I think it's human. It's just natural to us to talk about the negativity.
Yeah.
It's very strange, man. It's very, very strange. Or like when you talk about how someone wants to bring Tim down because it makes him feel insecure. One of my good friends, man, and I'm not going to call him out. You know him. We'll talk about it afterward. But I posted a thing. So twice a week I run 7 miles. I go pair to pair 7 miles there and back. It's like 3.5. And I post.
Tom, you do that.
And I posted.
I do 3.
You do 3. I see you when I'm running by.
I do 3.
He passes me. Yeah, he passes me.
Hurts.
Actually. Yeah.
Really
so
hurts.
I post that, right? 7 miles twice a week. And my friend texted me, goes, 7 miles bullshit. And I'm just like, okay, man. And then he saw a picture and he goes, you're looking leaner than I've ever. This is the guy we know very well. He goes, you're looking leaner than I've ever seen. I went, yeah, man, that keto diet changed my life. He goes, or steroids, huh? And I put, God damn it, I expect that out of you. He goes, why? I went, because you're lazy. You look like shit. You used to be in shape, and you see me working out, so you're just gonna chalk it up to steroids.
Wow.
It's
got to be an easy
And then
way.
I put, is that not weird to you? ? And he put, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
that's good. Sounds
What
like you
the
got to
fuck's
him.
wrong with you?
You got
Sounds
to
like
him.
you got to him.
By the way,
like-
you got something when they give you back a.
Oh no!
Yeah,
but you know how when you see the little things flickering, like they're
Right.
riding, it went away because he's right. Went away. You like it. They just put, fuck it. Yeah, sorry, man. Flicker,
That's
flicker,
great.
flicker. Went away. Flicker,
no,
flicker.
no.
What diet?
Sorry.
What diet changed your life?
The ketogenic diet. So there's no carbs, all fats, proteins. Yeah. I don't know if it's
Is that
for
the-
everyone, but for me,
You don't have a lot of insulin.
That's
running
the
through your
high
body.
the high fat diet.
Yeah, the
avocado.
primal.
It's you don't have a lot of carbohydrates, so you're running on not glucose, but mostly on fat.
That's what Rogan's on, right?
Yeah.
Correct. That's
primal diet.
So the most successful people I know are on it. So that's
Really?
yeah. So
Most successful in dieting
in
or
life.
in life.
In life, whoever's killing life is on this diet.
Really?
So that tells you they're doing something right.
Is it weird that you're meeting a person now who's killing life who's not on it?
I don't know. So Joe Rogan's got, he's
Yeah.
the one who really pushed me over the edge to do it.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow's been doing it for, God, he started doing it probably 4.5 years ago.
Really?
So when those two fucking beasts go, you should
Yeah.
try this out. I'm like, you
for
guys
you.
might be right.
It works for you, bro.
It could work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
those two guys who are so disciplined and knowledgeable on life and just success, I'm like, yeah, you kind of. It's like if Kevin Hart goes, hey man, you should try this joke. It's kind of funny. Okay, I'm gonna fucking tell that joke. Or if Jeff Gordon goes, you should drive like this, I'm gonna drive like that.
The New York Times 2 days ago had an amazing article about how
sugar
essentially
one?
about this. It was about sugar. And remember, she said
I read it
at the American Diabetes Association. She went. They went. These are scientists at University of Indiana.
I read it.
And they
I retweeted it. I
right. It
blasted
was
it up.
good for you because for the most part, these diabetics, all these diabetic doctors and the Diabetic Association and stuff are all talking about these medications and procedures, risky surgical procedures. They stick a tube in your stomach to suck food out. They'll staple your stomach, and there are all these risky procedures. And she said, there have been a lot of studies, and we've had a great deal of success just getting people to not eat a lot of carbohydrates and replacing it with proteins and fats. You might want to try that.
Yeah.
You might want to keep your insulin levels really low.
There's no money
so that
in
you
that,
don't
brother.
have to.
There's no money in that. Like Rogan just did a podcast with, I forget what his name was. I apologize. But he came out with a book he uses paleo and he says that word is a little
Kessler
sensitive.
or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Primal or
No, not that guy. That's
he uses paleo.
Yeah, he uses paleo, but he doesn't like to use the word paleo because everyone's a little scared of it. But he was talking about the health industry and the medicine and how if you have high blood pressure, they're going to give you this medication.
Yes.
Well, that medication is going to be low libido, so they give you this medication. And he goes, what they figured out is there's a lot more money in healthy people. So if you have this problem, they give you pills, the pharmaceuticals. That's where all the money's at, in the healthy people. So they found out a way to attack the healthy because there's way more healthy than sick.
Yeah.
But what's crazy about that article was they paid off Harvard scientists to put reports out saying that fats were bad and that all of these carb-related things, sugar-related things were good.
Well, the agriculture,
and that changed.
The Department of Agriculture got together with the sugar lobby.
Yeah.
And essentially jumped on this idea because there was this shoddy study about dietary fat causing high cholesterol and all that. And there was no real science.
You remember the food pyramid in your school?
Yeah.
And it was up everywhere? That thing
bullshit.
is so full of shit.
Yeah.
Our cleaning lady, this Mexican lady, her daughter goes to this private school, and she knows I know a good amount about nutrition,
right?
And so she goes, "Can I send you what they eat in a week?" And she goes, "We're thinking about doing the meal plan or making meals. Can I send it to you?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to see it." She sends it to me, and you want to talk about something that will piss you off? For breakfast, it was chocolate milk, glazed donuts.
Oh my god!
For lunch, it was strawberry milk, pizza, sloppy joes, finished off with a fucking apple fritter.
All sugar.
And I went, whoa, do not sign up for this. Do not don't let her eat this poison. She goes, why?
Poison.
We can go through it next time I see you, but there's so much sugar in there and crap, and none of this is nutritious. They're literally
because
then you're wondering why kids have learning disabilities or why kids can't sit still.
Yeah.
You're loading them up with sugar, their insulin spikes, and they fucking crash by 1 o'clock, and you want them to fucking learn the history of Spain? Fuck
right.
you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Swirling.
I went,
Yeah.
I said, please. And the cost of it was expensive too.
And who was this?
This was my nanny.
No,
where's
the diet from?
The diet
what
from
was this
the
menu
school.
from?
Well, first
from
of all,
the school.
It was from the school.
That's
but
the school.
because it's the food. It's the Food and Nutrition Board. So if there's a great book written by a guy who advocates being a vegan. I'm not a vegan. I don't really agree. But T. Colin Campbell wrote a book called The China Study.
Right.
And it's
it
was the inspiration for Forks Over Knives.
Right.
But what he does in that book is he's a doctor. He's a scientist. He does a very good job of tracing the genealogy of how the food how the food industry. And this is, they're not all bad guys, but the food industry did a very good job of pushing their foods, like things like soda, Mars bars, things like that,
right?
All this like chocolate milk. They did a very good job of essentially hijacking the Food and Nutrition Board and getting them to say that your diet, if you are a mother on dependency, if you are in the school, even if you're in the military, your diet can consist of up to 25% of simple sugars.
25%.
And he does a very good job in the book. So read the book because he really exposes this.
You lost me at vegan, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, no,
I know. I read that.
He
book.
got discredited with vegan,
but I'm saying that he's credited with at least looking at how this kind of stuff happens in schools. You know,
For sure. No, that's all over. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not the first. It's literally all over. That's why I was like,
Finding
let
these-
me see the lunch menu. I'm like, holy
That's
fuck.
that
awful.
I remember when I was a kid, same shit though.
I know.
Tater tots, pizza.
Pop-Tarts.
Then I would like,
There's a lot of money
I
in
would
it, though,
trade
like you
my
said.
friends to get their strawberry milk.
It's all
Because
sugar.
it's that little fucking box.
It's
Yeah.
sugar. It's amazing. Like that. And then that guy, the head Harvard scientist that put out that study, which changed the recommendations for the whole country. I mean, for decades.
was it Ansel Keys? I think he wasn't Harvard. I think he was Cornell, but it doesn't
And
matter.
then they promoted him to the head of the government's.
I think it was Ansel Keys. I think that's who you're talking about, who essentially did the Seven Continent study. The guy who essentially said that he was the guy who essentially said we should be eating a high fiber, high carbohydrate, low fat diet.
I'd like to see this
That
guy's
changed
body.
everything for
and
decades,
that changed
right?
everything for decades and still has, and that's why he's one of the men credited for creating this obesity epidemic.
But
in
like
this country.
even like
Amazing.
my dad's a fucking wicked smart guy. Has degrees, runs his own business, super successful. But even he didn't really know about nutrition because it really
Right.
wasn't a focal point. Like
'Cause
him
your
growing
doctors
up,
didn't know.
no one really knew exactly what to do. So he'd cheese, potatoes, like just all this
Yeah.
crazy shit. Hamburger Helper, macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
If you want to read,
Tater-
you want to read an amazing book on this that traces the history of this, it's called "Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It" by Gary Taubes, who is an amazing. He's a science writer, and man, he takes a look at how the obesity epidemic, what they would do and still do with people who are obese. Now they do all these operations, but
Right.
obesity for the longest time, they didn't tell you to change your diet. They didn't say stop eating all these carbs. What they would say is, well, you eat too much. And by the way, that's a mental condition, so they send you to a psychiatrist, and they would give you. It was treated as a psychiatric disease. It was
my
not
God.
treated as just a physiological issue of you probably eating a shitload of bread, lots of potatoes, and things like that.
Yeah.
Change your diet to fats and proteins, but we didn't know that.
It
We
feels
didn't
so
know
simple,
And-
right? Now you look at it, you're like, God damn
I
it.
know.
But here's the
But-
craziest
but-
thing about the book. They in Austria
break
and
down the whole
Germany.
book?
No, but in Austria and Germany before the World War II, scientists were closing in on this idea. They were like,
Right.
"Look, the bottom line is when you eat a high glycemic food, when you eat lots of bread and things like that,
Yeah.
what's happening is you're creating a lot of insulin in your body, and that now you have to run on glucose, not on fat, on the fat stores in your cells, et cetera, right?"
Right.
Well, when we'd had that science, after the war, the scientists in the United States were not going to take German research and Austrian research. They were like, I'm not fucking taking that research. There was this
Nazi
patriotic,
research?
there was this patriotic movement to say, let's come up with our own research. So it's really kind of an interesting thing. So we threw a lot of that research out. It's a really good book.
It really is a shame. I mean, 'cause like when you talk about your father, and my father's the same way. Like, it's not their fault because they were lied to. We found out now from these articles that we literally, the American public, has been lied to and manipulated so they could sell more sugar.
Yeah.
That's
right.
criminal.
Yeah,
right.
it's definitely not their fault. I remember my mom, like Friday nights, it was pizza night, man. We just ordered pizzas.
Yeah.
I'd be playing basketball and we'd had a 6-pack of Coca-Cola. And it's just
Yeah.
it's what-
Corn
and
syrup.
People think
A lot of money
Gatorade's
in
good
corn
for you.
syrup.
It's terrible for you. There's just tons of sugar in it.
There is, right?
It's amazing.
It's tons of sugar. It's
The
all marketing, man.
yeah, I'm totally on board except for the part that I've started baking sourdough bread around
I'd love a
December,
loaf, my man.
and I've become really good at it
Sourdough is
with
good.
natural cultures.
It can
that
be
are
healthy for you,
yeast
though.
from the
I
air.
think that's supposed to be good for you, though.
Sourdough is the best bread you can do, other than Ezekiel.
Yeah.
It's the best one you can
Because it's
have.
fermented with
And
natural
I'm
yeast.
so good at it. It makes my family so happy
Yeah.
God
when
damn.
I
That's
just
what
take these
Travis-
loaves of bread out of the oven.
You put
Look
some
how
butter
happy-
on it?
What?
I'm happy right
Travis
now.
does that at
You put
Juice
butter
Guy.
on it?
They can put butter on it.
A little cinnamon, maybe?
That's what actually I'm thinking of.
Bro,
next
when's the
one.
next loaf?
Cinnamon raisin's gonna be the next one.
Bro, Sim.
I have a
I want to
boner.
invest in the
You
Tom
mix it
Papa.
in.
I have a bread boner.
Oh, it's so good. So I'm like, I've cut all this. I've really been trying to cut all this other carb stuff out except for that bread.
But that's fine because you're
Is
using
it all
like
right?
great ingredients. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you guys are having it
No.
every single night. It's
no,
all about
you're
balance.
right. There's literally the bread, like the healthy bread you buy in the store, like a whole wheat bread, like
Yeah.
the healthiest one you can find in the supermarket. About 32 ingredients in that bread.
Yeah, it's all shit.
And the bread I make, it's 3 ingredients. It's flour, whole wheat flour, water, and salt. That's
that
it.
sounds nice.
That's how bread is supposed to be made.
If you want great bread, go to Justa, where we go.
fucking
all the time.
makes
I
his own.
literally just downloaded that
Ooh,
website.
Travis Lett.
Is it as good?
He's a mad scientist. He's a genius. He makes
I
it the
literally
old
wanna go-
European way with the natural.
Sometimes
yeast.
we'll
so
just
weird.
go
You
get
said
2
I
slices
literally
of
was-
bread.
Huh?
We'll go get 2 slices of bread with butter and
That's
jam.
our dessert.
I literally was looking up because I'm trying to change how I'm baking. I'm really obsessed with baking bread, but I was like looking for new ways to make it and change it up. And I found that place, and it's in my phone right now. Like, I wonder if I go to do the podcast, if I can get there. It's kind of in the same.
Well, I'll tell you exactly how to get there.
That's so
Same-
weird.
For sure you should
This is
go there.
kismet.
Same owner as Jelena.
That bread is just crazy
Yeah.
good.
Should we
Dude,
go to?
it's so
should we
good.
go to some current?
So
events?
you'll have
do it.
bread though? You'll have bread?
Oh yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's all moderation.
Right.
I'll definitely have if you fucking make a loaf, I'm gonna have a slice.
Okay.
We had a 9
Like-
gram
like a
pancake.
gentleman.
We had
Right.
9
Like a
gram
gentleman.
pancake.
Well, I will
Like a
bring it
gentleman.
next
Yeah.
time.
Like a gentleman.
I'm
Like a
so
gentleman.
happy to share my bread. I just got so addicted. I didn't know that yeast was flying around us all the time. And you put flour and water out, the yeast goes and finds it, starts eating it, and becomes a living culture. And that's how you make bread.
Yep. Did you ever read?
Where's the sourdough come from?
It comes from the bacteria
Fermentation.
and the acid that it creates and emits after eating up all
You ever
the flour.
read
clam chowder in
Kitchen Confidential?
Yeah.
You ever
What's
read
that?
Kitchen Confidential
No.
with Anthony Bourdain's book?
No.
Okay. Well, in Anthony Bourdain's book, he
Can you tell us what it's
dedicates
about?
dedicates some amazing chapters to the making of bread and how there was a junkie in his restaurant and he used to make the best bread in the world. And I mean, he was a
Tom
genius.
Papa begs the difference.
And he would cover it in towels and it would be fermenting.
Yeah.
And he would be so fucked up, he'd get so messed up, and he'd call Bourdain in the morning and go, you gotta tend to the beast, please. I can't get out of bed. Anthony's like, I'm not fucking doing it. He goes, please, she's gonna die. You gotta go tend to her, turn her over, please.
Yeah.
And there was a thing he wanted her to do,
best
and
bread
he
in
would
the
be
world.
begging Anthony because it took him so long to get the beast where it was. And Anthony goes, I'm not fucking doing it this time. You fucking do it, you junkie motherfucker. And he'd be like, I can't, man. I can't even move. Please, she's gonna die. And he'd be begging, she's gonna die. Go
get it.
Go get her.
I get it.
I do.
Do you
The
have
beast
a
will
big
die.
oven?
She'll die.
No, it's a pretty big oven. Yeah,
Like a
and
brick
I put,
or no?
I put two Dutch ovens in at the same time.
Yeah.
Make 2 loaves at once, but keeping the starter alive. Like when I'm on the road,
The starter, is that what it is?
it's
Is that what
called
he
a
was talking
starter.
about?
Yeah. Or
You gotta keep it
culture.
alive.
You've got to keep it
'Cause-
alive. So I'm calling from the road to my kids, like, you got to feed it. You got to feed her.
Feed the
She's-
beast.
It's
You
been a
gotta
week.
feed her. That's what
you
he
got to
said.
feed her.
Feed the beast. That's what he's saying. Feed the beast.
Yeah.
You gotta feed the right. You
I
gotta put.
start to care about it.
That's what he would do. He'd be begging.
Yeah.
And Anthony said every fucking time he'd go fuck, and he'd get up.
It
He'd
must
go
have
in
been
there.
good though if
Oh,
Anthony Bourdain's dealing with that
Bourdain
bullshit.
Yeah.
describes. He goes, and let me tell you something. That piece of shit junkie, that motherfucker. When you
Best
pull
bread
that bread
ever.
out of the oven, you'd be like, you know what?
best ever.
I don't care if he kills children. This shit is worth it.
That's amazing.
You'd have to be so talented to put up with that shit.
Oh yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you got, Ev? Current events.
Feed the beast. Feed the beast.
All right, so
that's
first
good.
current event that we're gonna do today, that's like literally the exact sound tone that we had drawn up.
Oh,
to
really?
put into the podcast. Yeah, same current event tune. So first one we got today. So we did a current event on Nelly, like about his record going diamond country grammar a couple months ago. One of the most responded to current events I think we've ever done.
People love Nelly.
People love Nelly a lot. So this current event has been sent to me dozens of times at this point. For whatever reason, Nelly resonates with our audience.
What do you got?
So Nelly got hit with a $2.4 million tax lien.
Oh boy.
Your boy has been having some tax problems. $2.4 million.
Doesn't he have managers and agents who
A lot of money.
Yeah, but
They all just sit.
I
they
feel like
all just
rappers
listen to
managers.
him.
I feel like rappers managers are usually like their brother or their buddy from like when they were growing up, and that's
Yeah.
That's
Or
a
a
lot
Jewish
of
guy
money.
you don't listen to.
Yeah, for real.
so he gets hit with a
damn it.
$2.4 million tax lien, right?
Yeah.
He's not doing great financially. Spin Magazine puts out an article saying that Hot in Here they're just packaging that story in a different way. They're like, Hot in Here would need to be streamed on Spotify based on their revenue model 487 million times in order for him to basically pay that off with Spotify
We can
revenue,
do that.
which is very
we
cheap.
can get it there.
We can get that done.
We can get
Hashtag
there.
Save Nelly. Since that article, hashtag Save Nelly and hashtag Hot in Here Streaming Party have been going off.
Yeah.
Really?
Nelly's getting saved by his
100%.
It's like
What
all
are they up
these
to?
tweets about
I'll
people.
blast that out.
Me
Someone,
too.
Yeah.
someone send it to me so I can retweet
Yeah,
that
me
shit.
too.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
all
to.
these
Now he's
people.
the best.
All these
Free
people
Nelly.
happy about how he like.
He's the
Everyone
songbird
has
of my
memories.
generation.
Yeah, everyone has a memory of like grinding at a party in high school to a Nelly song. So everyone's now getting behind Nelly, and
Wow.
Spotify's
Is he
going to
still
release.
making music? Is he still writing?
Yeah, he
stuff?
came out
Yeah.
with something, and then he also had a reality show with his kids are making music, I think.
I think you're thinking of T.I.
No, I don't think of T.I.
Say Nelly. Say
No,
Nelly.
definitely Nelly.
I didn't catch up to
T.I. has that huge show with his kids and they're making music.
Right.
And then Rev Run had with his kids making music.
Yeah, Run's House.
Seems to be oh, yeah.
I think that's
Seems
what
to
it's
be what
called.
they do. What do you mean they? Yeah, I don't know if Nelly had his own show. Either way, he's a hit.
Wow.
Good for him.
Fuck,
so-
I hope it works out.
Get him out of that.
Hey,
do you know
for
how-
sure pay your taxes.
It's going so well that Spotify came out and said we're going to update Nelly's stats on Spotify on Wednesday, so everybody can know like where he's at and how
What a great
serious he's
publicity
getting.
for Spotify too.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. All right.
God,
You know, it's-
really bailed
Nelly,
Nelly
go.
out though,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah. And Brian, you actually just kind of triggered another one that happened over the weekend. Brendan, you probably saw this. Some kid at college game day made a sign that said, "Hey mom, send beer money," and put his Venmo account on his sign.
People hooked him up.
Got fucking blown up like you wouldn't
How
believe.
much?
This kid probably, I mean, I haven't checked the stat because this happened over the weekend, but that kid had to have made at least a couple grand. Venmo
For a college
themselves,
kid?
Venmo themselves sent this kid money
Damn.
and tweeted it out on their own account.
That's
awesome.
great.
Like,
really
props
cool.
to you,
That's
kid.
really great.
I bet he had an epic night
Yeah.
with his college buddies.
I love shit like that.
That's so cool.
I
man.
heard a story about a guy who remember 20th century real estate or whatever, and he called up. It was like 1999. And he goes, "What are you gonna call 20th century when the millennia hits?" And they go, "21st century." And he goes, "Oh, I bought that. Pay me $12 million."
Diabolical.
Well, that's a little different.
They
That's
gave him
kind of
$12
being a
million.
scumbag. I don't like people that do that. Like, what do you do with firing the kid? I own it. Well, you're a piece of shit. You know that's our business. You make that completely different.
$12
This
million.
is completely
Oh my
different,
God.
sir. Completely.
I never said it was
different.
the same. I'm just saying he made $12 million.
There's a scummy company out of like Baltimore who bought up the trademarks for Yosemite National Park, like Yosemite and the lodge name and some of the names of the different mountains, and they're squatting on all of the
I had to
trademarks and holding them hostage for it to the point where Yosemite National Park, our park, they had to take down some of the signs while they're going through
What
the
a
litigation.
weird,
I had
what a weird scumbag leech way to make money.
I had to buy my own name
Scavengers.
back. Somebody bought BrianCallen.com. I had to spend $2,000 on it.
Did you really?
I could have
overpaid, sir.
I could have gone through all the stuff, but and I said to him, I go, "How long have you been doing this?" He said, I bought my first name, blah blah blah, and he said, "I haven't had to work since." He's just one of those guys.
Oh my god!
Piece of shit.
Just a
They're
scavenger,
literally
like a
just pieces
hyena.
of shit.
Yeah.
There's people who from our YouTube page they'll put the show on their page, try and get ads and money off of it.
Oh,
So
really?
we literally have a guy now who searches that out and shuts it down.
It's so
So
scummy.
weird, man.
Unbelievable.
Guys do that when there's literally not even a monetary gain out of it. Like they'll do that on social media. They're like, if you see a UFC fighter who has a handle that just seems stupid as fuck, it's probably because his name got squatted on by some random MMA fan who thinks they're gonna get a piece of that guy's contract,
Yep.
which
Wow.
literally is never the case.
I've never had a friend in this world where I'm like, what's going on, bro? Nothing, man. Just fucking bought George St. Pierre's Twitter handle, man. I think I'm gonna make some money. Get the fuck out of my car. Get out of my car.
Gross.
We can't be friends.
Yeah, you're.
You loser.
Loser.
If you're listening to this, you're like, God, I've done that. Yeah, man, you got to check yourself.
Check
Yeah,
Hey,
you're
you
a
probably don't
leech.
have a girlfriend. It's gonna be very tough because no girl's like that's so sexy. So let me get this.
Stealing
you,
names.
You steal the handles of famous people who are doing shit, and then you try and get money out of them, bro. Oh, let me suck your dick. That's never happened ever. Listen, fellas, never ever do that.
Don't be a parasite. Go on.
What else you got, Ev?
All right, next one. Sticking to some streaming music stuff. How much do you think in these? It's been a year and a half since Jay-Z and that just squad of A-list celebrities bought the company Tidal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now they've been doing exclusive album premieres on there. Kanye held his album there exclusively for a
Kanye's on
while.
there. That's the big one.
How well do you think they did revenue-wise
I don't
last
know
year?
that they did very
in
well.
the last year.
I would guess not very well.
I bet they did great.
Let's get a number.
Fuck.
They lost $10 million.
They made $100 million.
I would say they either broke even or they've made a modest amount of money.
They have lost $28 million.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because that's the model. They don't care if they're going to make money. They're just going to do that until Apple comes along and buys them out. And then
Apple's
they'll-
like,
and then
nah,
they'll-
we're good.
They're like, "Hey, we'll kick you 100 for
Because
that."
you
Yeah.
know why,
Hundo.
you know why it doesn't work is because this day and age, if that's your platform and title, so if Kanye releases that there, it's only gonna be up there for maybe a month. But also when he puts it up there, people are gonna stream it everywhere online.
Right.
So you can't control them stealing that and streaming it, blasting to their friends. If they had a concept where literally you can't get it anywhere else and Kanye sold it there and that's the only place in the world you can listen to Kanye's new album, then you might make some money.
Yeah.
Well, they can't keep it there. There's no longevity to it. Like
That's
you
what I'm
can't.
saying.
You
You have
can't
to
keep.
keep
So
it
like, you
there.
can keep it there for
Impossible.
what? Like how long did he have his life of Pablo up there
maybe?
for?
A month, maybe 2 max.
So what do they do? The kids wait until it comes out on another platform? Or?
Well, as soon as you have that device, they put that device. These dark web kids are like, oh, thanks, bro. Shoink,
Yeah.
wonk, and then literally spread it to every friend they have.
Yeah.
Why would I have title?
Yeah. No,
Someone sent it to me in an email. I was like, oh, there's Kanye. Sweet, man.
Is that how
He's
it ended
worth
up with you?
$600 million. You don't need my money. Thanks, man. Yoink. Just
Brutal.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
Oh,
I don't
it's
know-
brutal.
Do people even like download music in the traditional way that you and I probably did?
Well, you talking about on iTunes?
Like there's iTunes, but there's like when people will download the album off of Tidal and then would put it up on like for us growing up, it was like Kazaa or
they still do
LimeWire
that.
or shit like that.
They
Is
still
that
do
still
that. Oh, it's all bodybuilding.com, all those forums. They blast it everywhere.
just links for days? All you got to do is just Google Kanye album.
Yeah, links
Link.
for
Yeah.
days, movies, the newest movie out, any
Yeah.
TV show. You don't need Netflix.
I
you don't
keep
need
forgetting
that.
that I have Spotify, and instead I'm buying for 99 cents songs on Apple.
Are you still?
like,
You
dude.
don't do the streaming through Apple?
I do the Apple Music, but you have to have web. You have to be connected. To
Well,
the
you can
internet. It drives me
download.
crazy.
No, you can download
No?
it off. Yeah.
You can download any track to play offline.
Yeah.
So you don't need Wi-Fi or any kind of internet connection.
How do you do that?
It has a little cloud with an arrow. Hit that button and it downloads it to your device, and then you have it.
But even just on the app, you just like it's like a switch, and it'll say stream when you're not on Wi-Fi.
Oh.
That happened to me.
Okay.
I don't need Wi-Fi.
So now you
Yeah.
can just listen to
It's really easy.
You can
yeah.
download everything before you're gonna fly, and then make sure it's all on your device before you split.
Stop it.
Yep.
you
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
I know. I'm
Next-
from the
next.
future.
I got the new iPhone. I tell you, I got the new iPhone coming. Had to pre-order it. That
You got
bitch
it?
When are they shipping it?
It said I just got the email like yesterday. It said between November 1st to November 30th.
What's with the November?
if
I
you
was
get
gonna
the
pull
matte
it-
black? These bitches said next February.
Oh, come on.
What?
I get the regular.
Yeah,
black.
I was
Matte
tooling
black
around. I
next
was like,
February.
November. Forget it.
It's
February.
nuts, man.
Wow.
And then I thought the fucking thing was waterproof and it came with the wireless earphones. Nope.
No?
You can get it wet, but you can't go.
It's
I thought I
resistant.
could be in the ocean when I swim and like film myself do some cool shit. Nope.
No.
The phone will
Resistant.
die. Like if it drops in the toilet and you bring it out, you're fine. You can't swim it. I purposely bought it so I could swim in the
Don't
ocean
be
with
scuba
it.
diving.
My brother's like, you're not. You didn't actually think.
Why do you want to swim in the ocean with it?
It'd be awesome. I don't know.
What is it
Swim
good
around
for?
all the
Like,
time.
what is it good for? Like a foot of water? Not
I don't
even?
know, but my brother's like, you're an idiot, because I was like, got the new iPhone coming November 1st to November 30th, so I look forward to that. I said, I'm going to swim with it, wireless earphones. He goes, you're an idiot, because first of all, you can get it wet, can't swim in it. Second of all, doesn't come with wireless earphones. You have to buy those. Those are $179. You're welcome. I was like, God damn it. I don't need this
That's
And it doesn't have
Brutal.
a jack, so you have to buy the wireless headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't plug the old ones in.
That's good. That's awesome. All right.
Someone at Apple just sits around like, how can we make more money?
More money.
We will eliminate the jack.
We will. Next,
All right, next one we got. How do you guys think CM Punk affected the pay-per-view buy rate
ooh, I'm so glad this is a
for
number.
UFC 203?
Do you know?
I don't, but I'm gonna
don't
say
either.
I'm gonna say because I watched it as a fan.
You watch all of them, I thought.
No, but I mean, I really wanted to see this one with. I want to see how he'd do, and I'm not a CM Punk guy. I would say that it had a huge. It was a huge boost.
Well, give us
a
the
big money
like.
number. I
So
don't
so
know-
over $1 million would be crazy.
Oh, okay, it would over $1 million.
A
Yeah.
million's like this is going in like the pantheon of UFC top
so you
events.
top 10
Oh, wow.
over $1 million.
$500,000.
Wow.
It's
Go ahead. Don't tell us yet. Do you? Well,
750.
I'm gonna say. I will say right under $1 million. I'll say around 800, 900.
you two are about the same distance from the right answer. It's looking like he pretty much doubled the early estimate for what it was going to do.
So what?
So we're looking at
Eight.
somewhere between 650 and 800,000.
Amazing.
Probably topping closer to the 800,000.
Wow.
Which would make it the biggest UFC pay-per-view without Rousey, McGregor, or Lesnar on it since UFC 182.
Dana White knows how to make money.
Jeez.
And take it easy, because you could put any major star on there and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I
Well, I'm
mean,
saying
if
it's
you had
fine.
Morgan Freeman on there, you get 800. I mean, let's take it easy. Dano, genius. Well,
I'm
still
gonna
getting
beat you
well,
up.
yeah. Anyone. I mean, the thing is
I'm Morgan
he-
Freeman.
he's a big deal, and we all wanted to see kind of this show from a business aspect. It obviously paid off. That's interesting, man.
I'm
Did
Morgan
you predict
Freeman.
that?
Does
Do you
this-
think that would happen or no?
Does this make it more likely that we're going to get a bunch of these more kind of
No.
borderline ridiculous fights in the future?
No, I don't think so, because I think you might see CM Punk in like 2 or 3 years try it again here, but maybe. I don't know. I think every wrestler who had the idea of fighting saw that and was like, holy shit, I'm not doing that. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't good. I applaud the guy for taking a risk and put himself out there. I'm not hating on him for that, but that's what happens, man. You got to put the time in. You just,
Can't just walk in and do it.
no one walked away from that. I was like, I think he could I think he could do this. Man. Not one person. The CM Punk fan club, the president fan club was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it. Can we go back to SummerSlam?
I'm glad he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, he didn't get hurt. He's going to make bank, though, because he gets pay-per-view percentage now.
Eh.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. It was worth it. And then with the UFC, you know. But you can't run a business off that, you know. That's like
He still can't get the new
can't do
iPhone
it.
until February.
I think you can only pull that card maybe once every 3 or 4 years. Otherwise, you got a shit show on your hands. Like who's
Yeah,
next?
it's a circus.
Who's next? Let's say The Rock wants. You know how big of a pay-per-view draw The Rock would be? Say The Rock wants to do it.
Yeah, and then it's professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Like where do you
I'm
stop?
Morgan Freeman. I will kick your ass.
Morgan Freeman fighting Dustin Hoffman.
I'd pay for that.
Dustin Hoffman, Morgan Freeman, and Robert De Niro will be reffing.
I'm Morgan Freeman. It is on.
It is on. What else you got, Ev?
That's it for current events.
Those are good, man. We have some fan questions.
I'll do a dropping. I'll do a DK.
If you read, I'm gonna punch you in the dick.
Nope.
And that's for every fan. I see your comments.
No, I just wanted to say that it's interesting how if you look at the way economists or even climate scientists but let's just say economists and people who predict market forces, people who predict how we're going to do things. Typically or political scientists, people who read polls who say that people are going to vote this way or that way, and they're always surprised.
There we got it.
The underlying assumption is a lot of times that human beings are rational, that we are reasoned and rational people. Would everybody in this room consider themselves to be rational?
Oh, yes.
Depends on the subject.
Depends on the subject.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is human beings are not rational. People are emotional. We are... Don't ever sneeze.
You're fired.
Don't ever sneeze in the middle of my...
Out of all the segments.
Wow.
Of all the segments...
I have to go.
Speaking of being
she's
irrational,
allergic to knowledge. Allergic to knowledge.
Kill her.
Kill her. And
She's allergic to your dropping knowledge.
that's right. People like Jonathan Haidt and these social scientists have found that when you have a strong emotion around something, many times you will build a morality around it. You will do things. So whenever people essentially human beings like Sam Harris. Do you know Sam Harris?
Yeah.
I love Sam Harris. He's on Rogan's podcast a lot, and he's a famous atheist. And Sam Harris is a very big critic of religion. And he's really smart and articulate about it. The problem is that Sam Harris assumes human beings are 100% rational.
Right.
So he'll use a rational argument for why religion is stupid.
Uh-huh.
The problem is that human beings are not rational, and they're very rational in one aspect of their life and totally irrational. And here's an example. A lot of times you'll get somebody who might be super religious and they may have some prejudice, like all of us do.
Yeah.
And so what we'll do is we'll say, well, how can you be prejudiced? You must be an idiot in the broad aspects of your life. Well, in fact, people who are religious sometimes do very irrational but very good things. For example, the Catholics or the religious person that harbored Jews during Nazi Germany to their own detriment, and many times they would get caught and killed themselves. There are so many examples of human beings who do irrational acts
Right.
that are actually bad for their health, bad for their bodies, bad for their, and they lose their lives. And that can be because they have an emotional compulsion to help somebody they don't
Right.
even fucking know. So that was kind of an eye-opener for me, because you realize that all of us do very irrational things. Hey, ready? When you take martial arts, when you take martial arts in your 40s, when you're trying to learn how to box and you're sparring when you're 40, well, that's not very rational, but I get great enjoyment of it. You know why I do it? I swear to God. You know why I still box and stuff? Just in case, this is embarrassing, just in case I get in a fight and I have to protect myself. I don't want to look stupid. When Ed O'Neill came in here, he's 70 and famous. He goes, I do jiu-jitsu. I'm a black belt. I just don't want to get beat up. We have these irrational fears. How often am I actually going to get in a fight? You chose to be a fighter. You play football for 20 years. I'm going to go fight in the UFC and get punched in the face for a living. And I'm going to fucking spar with Shane Carwin for 3 years and throw up in my car from fucking head trauma, from concussions, but I'm going to keep doing it. Oh, and now I'm going to stop and I'm done with that. I'm going to podcast and become a comic. Huh? Excuse me? We all do these things.
Crazy fun.
Right.
We are emotional creatures. So the next time you try to criticize somebody because they did something irrational
Right.
on rational assumptions, the next time you say, he's not rational because he's a fucking moron in this aspect of his life, take a look at his entire life. Because human beings are a rainbow, and we are very complicated, and we do really dumb shit in one part of our lives, really smart shit in others. We're complete assholes in some ways, and I mean assholes, and super generous in other ways.
Yeah.
A lot of evangelical Christians may have the idea that if you're a Hindu, you're going to hell, but they do a fuckload of work for charity, and they alleviate a lot of suffering in their immediate surroundings.
Right.
So let's be careful how we judge.
Boom.
Tom, you have anything to say about that, you son of a bitch?
I was just trying to think about my flaws, but I couldn't come up with anybody. So no.
Tom, you're
you're
saying
pretty
you have no
perfect.
flaws?
Now I was trying. When I come back next time, I'll try and.
big-
Yeah,
Fred.
let's jump into some fan questions and get Tom out of here.
Fan questions.
This is a good
These are-
podcast.
These are questions for all three of us.
Yep. All right. First fan question. Who do you guys think is the bigger fight? Canelo versus Triple G or Kovalev versus Ward?
Kovalev versus Ward,
Uh,
right?
No, not even close. Canelo versus
Why?
Triple G would absolutely destroy pay-per-view numbers.
That's
No,
what I was
No,
going
no,
to
I'm
say.
not saying that. I'm saying,
No,
Like-
they're saying who's the bigger fight.
oh, the
Not
bigger
what Brian
draw. The bigger
Callen-
draw?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Not
I
even
would've-
close.
I would've-
Not even close.
Yeah, Canelo.
Kovalev versus Andre Ward won't be that big
Right.
pay-per-view numbers. But
But
it's
what's
an
the
amazing
fight?
fight.
What's the fight you want to see more, though?
Triple G Canelo. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, for sure. Both great fights.
Yeah.
All right, next one. This is an interesting one. Any theme/party suggestions for a 30th birthday?
Tom?
You're
For a
30.
30th birthday theme, I would say 30th. That's 30 years ago. Nah. I would say
Go to the movies.
Yeah, go to the movies. How about something 80s? Go.
It's too easy, Tom.
It's a little too obvious.
How about Liberace themed?
Too gay.
Who knows what he's into? How about Naked Zombie?
Do blow. You're 30. Your heart can still take.
Well, no, they need a theme.
I know.
Not
This
the way you should do for the party.
Pablo Escobar.
You could do a Narcos theme.
Oh, there you go.
Narcos theme?
I like
You can have like
pretty
rival
good.
gangs. El Chapo shows up.
Chicks, hookers everywhere with no clothes, or at least if they're not hookers, make them dress up like that. And you guys dress, and the guys can dress like gangsters.
Pot
and
bellies.
and then have
Yeah,
a lot
just
of
pot
blow,
bellies.
and the guys won't get it up. And
Do a Narcos theme.
and then
That's
I
pretty
come in.
good.
I
What's
come in as a
cartel?
cop. I come in as a cop, FBI cop,
And then
I
rip your pants off.
Yep, and I go, here's my, and I instead of a gun, I got my hard rod.
I'm not mad at that idea.
Somebody's getting fucked.
There you go.
Narcos theme is what it is.
But I would suggest putting like Boy George in it, just one of them.
How come?
To hang out with the Narcos guys, because it's the 80s.
You're right. I want to touch
80s
you.
Narcos.
Come on and touch me.
What else you got?
If you come through on that and actually have a Narcos themed party, Please send us pictures.
Please.
It's a good call. Narcos.
Of the pot bellies.
All right, next question. Any news on the Fighter and the Kid 3D? Would love to see any new video content coming out.
We are in the process of creating something.
Well,
That means we're trying
yeah.
to come up with something.
No, that we shoot a pilot in October for the TV show. There won't be another
Nice.
Fire and Kid digital series. We have an animation series coming out soon.
Wow.
Boom.
Yeah,
Guys,
Tom. It's
this
called
is real.
Hey, Tom. It's called Killing It.
It is.
You know what the nickname for this podcast is? Killing It.
I thought it was eat only avocados.
God damn it. No. We live on fat and greens.
What else you got, Ev?
Want
Two more,
fat and
man.
greens? Come on,
All
Evan.
right, 2 more.
Son of a
Let's
bitch.
see.
Evan's looking buff.
Oh, here we go.
I like his shoulders. You've been working.
You
your
say that a
shoulders.
lot.
You've
You
been working
like
your
my
shoulders.
shoulders a lot, don't you?
But you've been put on a little more
He
muscle.
looks exactly the
Barely
same.
at all.
Oh no.
Tighter
put on-
shirt.
I'm just
put on
getting
about-
I'm getting tighter pants. These
No,
quadzillas are coming out.
Yeah. No, you put on about 5 pounds of muscle.
Go
All
ahead.
right, next one. I'm 18 and I'm gonna go to my girlfriend's parents' house for the first time, but I'm black and they're kind of racist. Any advice?
Well, you're black and they're kind of racist.
That's their problem.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's
those
their
parents.
fucking problem. If they have a problem with a black woman coming to their house,
No, he's
then-
a black guy.
Oh, he's a black guy. Oh, even better. What you should. That's their problem, man. And
I wouldn't want to meet them.
well, or
Look them in the eye. Shake their hand and look them right in the eye.
change their minds by being a human being.
Be bigger.
Guess what? I'm just like you guys. You fucking dummies.
Yeah, because that's
Just
gonna do
be
it. The
bigger. Just be a
18-year-old.
gentleman.
My guess is they're going to be very nice to you, and my guess is that they aren't as racist as you think they are.
Or they're going to be very nice to you, and as soon as you leave, they're going to tell her,
Yes.
don't ever see that guy again.
Yes, and they're gonna drop N-bombs like crazy.
But either way, you look them in the eye and be the bigger person.
And what you should do is when you have to go pee, go, man, I got to go pee out of this big fat black dick.
I don't even have to get up.
I would do that too.
I'm going to do it from here.
Yeah.
Man, I got to pull this thing out of its holster.
Sir, can you hold this?
Look her dad right in the eye. Look her dad right in the
You
eye.
could just go over the top.
Where's
with
it? Yeah, where's a
You
man
just go over the
drain
top.
this fucking mom?
Man, you got any 40s in this motherfucker? And just go real over
Real
the
hard,
top.
yeah.
Real over
Yeah.
the top. You mind if I light a joint up in this bitch?
Where are the white women at? Ah, just kidding. I got your daughter.
And keep in mind, you're 18. You're not going to stay with this girl, so who cares?
Have some fun with it.
Yeah,
and
enjoy
film
it.
it for us, please. That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, I hope they're not as racist as you say they are, and I'm sure they'll be nice to you.
Even
At
if they
least
are,
shit face.
fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. If you're
Last
if you
question,
just don't
Ev.
like somebody because they're black, God, you're dumb. You're fucking just dumb. Educate
shouldn't
those
be allowed to
fuckers.
breathe.
Bring some books over.
But you said it's not rational.
God,
It's just emotional.
You're right.
It's just
There you go.
emotional.
Bring it
Bring
full
some
circle.
books over. God damn it. Let me know how that goes.
All right, last one. What's a good habit you have now that you wish you would have started 10 years ago, and what's the worst habit you've ever had to give up?
Being late's the worst habit I've ever had to give up. Still have some problem with that.
Did you give that one up?
Well, I'm trying. I guess the best. Did you? What is it? So the worst habit I had to give up. What was the one habit I wish I
one-
picked up?
Yeah, one habit. What's a good habit you have now that you wish you would have started 10 years ago?
Tom?
You know what?
Stretching in the morning. I know it sounds weird, but I was doing that. So no.
Getting up early.
Stretching.
Getting up early, actually. Like, I'm forced to do it because I have children, so they changed my schedules. But I get so much done creatively early in the morning that if I should have done that more when I was younger.
My habit
I'm
is.
going to piggyback on that because now my son wakes up at 6, so I'm up by 5:36.
Yeah.
Like now I work out, I prepare my meals, I can write in the morning and before I even come here, and then I have the
Yeah.
rest of the day to do whatever I want.
And you're
Just
just
make
like,
sure you're getting enough sleep. But yeah, wake
well,
up.
you got to meditate for 20 minutes in the afternoon.
I think my habit would have been something I've gotten pretty good at is not indulging in negative thoughts and learning what not to think about. And when I get a thought that's not helpful, I literally, I don't even try to do anything. I just refocus my attention onto something I should be thinking about, like my stand-up, like
Right.
my writing. So
Just acknowledging that you're thinking the negative thought is enough.
Yeah, because sometimes you can really wallow in not only a negative thought, but what could happen. You might wallow
You
in
don't want to
sort of a-
compare yourself to other people.
Yep, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
And,
It's a really big one,
Yes.
especially in our business.
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
comparing my podcast to this one this whole time.
You
and
fucked
it's
up.
really
You
bad.
fucked up,
It's
right?
really bad.
I've
I'm
sent a darkness.
I'm in a dark place right
I-
now.
Oh no! Oh,
hear you.
no. Tom Papa, you're a good man. Hey,
Great
first of
seeing
all,
you.
where can they see you? When's the next time somebody can see? Because he's one of the funniest comics ever.
Tonight I'm at Largo with Bill
right.
Burr. We're gonna do a little thing at Largo.
Damn. That's a good show.
Saturday I'm doing a fundraiser in Riverside, California for these pet people. Just go to tompapa.com. All my tour dates are there. I'm all over the place.
You're on Instagram,
Papa.
and Twitter?
Instagram,
What is
Twitter. My podcast is called Come to Papa. I'm Tom Papa on
At
Instagram.
Tom Papa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow you as soon as we
Come
leave
to
here.
And
Papa.
I follow you guys.
I'm gonna slide into your DMs.
It's another dark place I go. You guys, all your Instagrams, the posts of you guys. What do you call those, memes or?
Yeah, that's Brennan
Yeah.
Schaub.
Man, they do a good job.
Brennan Schaub's been copied by many a comic since.
Man,
he
yeah,
came up with those
exactly.
ideas.
You know, it was a really great one, a really good one that you did for your dates with the iPad, talking to yourself on
Oh,
the
yeah,
iPad.
yeah.
So damn
I just
funny.
did another one where I'm singing about where I'm going to be this weekend.
Eh.
Gotham Comedy Club
Brilliant.
in New York City.
Are you going to Gotham this weekend?
Yeah.
It's
You're
a
there
great club.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, Friday,
Just Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, still some tickets left.
Go
Gotham
get them,
Com-
kids.
Gotham
And then
Comedy Club.
Good show.
Abbott Kenny Fight Club tees are sold out. So thank you guys for that. Thank you for watching Ridiculousness last night. We are in San Jose on the 22nd. That is next Thursday. I'm at the Comedy Store on Tuesday if you're in LA.
Nice.
Oxnard and Brea are in October. Palm Beach and Atlanta. Atlanta tickets, I see you guys asking. Those will go on sale, I think, next week. So that's in November. November 10th, we are in Atlanta. Then Palm Beach, the 11th and the 12th. Get all your shit at tfatk.com. This is the Fire and Kid. We're out.